20 unforgivable acts by Camilla that infuriated Princess Diana fans. The love triangle between Princess Diana, King Charles, and Camilla Parker Bowles was one of the most publicized and scandalous affairs in royal history. While Princess Diana captured the hearts of millions worldwide with her beauty, compassion, and humanitarian efforts, Camilla was often portrayed as the villainous third party who contributed to the breakdown of the royal marriage. In this video, we'll uncover 20 controversial actions and incidents involving Camilla that outraged Princess Diana's devoted fans. From her long-standing relationship with King Charles during his marriage to Princess Diana, to her perceived lack of empathy towards the people's princess, these acts sparked fury and condemnation from those who adored Princess Diana. Number 1. The secret affair with King Charles. Camilla's long-running affair with King Charles while he was married to Princess Diana caused widespread anger and a deep sense of betrayal among Princess Diana's fans. This illicit relationship, which had reportedly begun years before King Charles and Princess Diana even wed, was seen as the ultimate act of disrespect and deceit. It shattered the fairy tale image of the royal marriage that had captured the world's imagination. Princess Diana's supporters were outraged that Camilla could so brazenly carry on an affair with a married man, let alone the future King of England. They saw it as a flagrant violation of the vows King Charles had made to Princess Diana and a complete disregard for the sanctity of marriage. Number 2. Ignoring Princess Diana's feelings. Camilla was perceived as callously dismissive of Princess Diana's emotions and struggles during her tumultuous marriage to King Charles. This lack of empathy and compassion further fueled the resentment and anger towards her among Princess Diana's supporters. While Princess Diana was publicly candid about her emotional turmoil and loneliness, Camilla seemed to show no regard for the pain she had helped to inflict. Fans were appalled by reports that Camilla had made insensitive remarks about Princess Diana's battle with bulimia and depression, trivializing her suffering. There was a perception that Camilla was solely focused on her desires with no consideration for how her actions were deeply wounding the Princess of Wales. This perceived indifference to Princess Diana's anguish only solidified Camilla's image as a heartless homewrecker in the minds of Princess Diana's loyal followers. Number 3. The infamous Camillagate tapes. The leaked telephone conversations between King Charles and Camilla, dubbed Camillagate, revealed shockingly intimate details of their relationship, infuriating Princess Diana's fans and adding fuel to the fire of public outrage. The tapes, which contained explicit sexual banter between the two, provided undeniable proof of their long-running affair. For Princess Diana's supporters, these tapes represented the ultimate humiliation for the princess. Not only had Camilla's affair with King Charles been an open secret, but now the sordid details were laid bare for the world to hear. It was a brutal violation of Princess Diana's privacy and dignity, made all the more painful by the callous disregard for her feelings that the tapes seemed to convey. Princess Diana's fans saw the leaks as a cruel and malicious act, one that only deepened their hatred for Camilla. Number 4. Attending Princess Diana's wedding. Camilla's presence at King Charles and Princess Diana's wedding was seen as a bold affront to the new princess, a gesture that many viewed as disrespectful and insensitive. Despite the well-known history between Camilla and King Charles, she was still invited to witness the man she loved pledging his life to another woman. For Princess Diana's fans, this was an unforgivable act that set the tone for the entire sham of a marriage. How could King Charles claim to be committed to Princess Diana while allowing his former lover to be present on what should have been the happiest day of his bride's life? It was a slap in the face to Princess Diana and a harbinger of the heartbreak that was to come. Camilla's attendance at the wedding was seen as a brazen declaration of her hold over King Charles and a complete disregard for Princess Diana's feelings. Number 5. Receiving gifts from King Charles. Princess Diana's discovery that King Charles was still giving Camilla gifts even after their marriage intensified feelings of betrayal and future alienated Princess Diana from her husband. These gifts, which ranged from expensive jewelry to personal mementos, were seen as a tangible proof that King Charles' affection still lay with his former flame. To Princess Diana's supporters, the fact that King Charles was still lavishing gifts on Camilla while married to the Princess of Wales was an unforgivable act of disrespect and disloyalty. It signaled that Camilla still held a place in King Charles' heart and that his commitment to Princess Diana was hollow at best. Number 6. Undermining Princess Diana. Allegations surfaced that Camilla sought to actively undermine Princess Diana's position within the royal family, contributing to the isolation and marginalization that Princess Diana experienced. According to reports, Camilla used her influence and connections to turn members of the royal household against the Princess of Wales. For Princess Diana's fans, these claims painted Camilla as a cruel and calculating woman who was determined to diminish Princess Diana's standing at any cost. They saw it as a deliberate campaign to make Princess Diana feel unwelcome and insignificant within the very institution she had married into. Camilla was accused of spreading rumors and innuendo about Princess Diana, sowing seeds of doubt and mistrust among those who should have been supporting the young princess. Number 7. Influence over King Charles. Camilla was perceived as wielding an unhealthy level of influence over King Charles, manipulating his decisions and further alienating Princess Diana from her husband. There was a belief that King Charles was under Camilla's sway, unable or unwilling to resist her demands and directives. To Princess Diana's fans, this dynamic painted Camilla as a sinister force who had managed to overpower the future King of England, bending him to her will. They saw it as a corruption of the natural order, with King Charles prioritizing his mistress over his wife and the mother of his children. Camilla's perceived ability to sway King Charles' thoughts and actions was seen as a direct threat to Princess Diana's standing within the royal family. Number 8. Close relationship with King Charles' family. While Princess Diana felt isolated and unsupported, Camilla's close ties with King Charles' family only added to the perception of her as a divisive force within the royal ranks. Reports suggested that Camilla enjoyed a warm rapport with members of the royal family, even as they ostracized and ignored Princess Diana's struggles. For Princess Diana's supporters, this cozy relationship between Camilla and King Charles' relatives was a slap in the face to the princess. They saw it as a betrayal of the family's duty to support and embrace Princess Diana as one of their own. The fact that Camilla, the other woman, could be welcomed into the fold, while Princess Diana was left to suffer in solitude, was considered an unforgivable act of disrespect and cruelty. This perceived double standard only deepened the resentment towards Camilla among Princess Diana's fans. Number 9. Public displays of affection. Post-divorce public appearances and displays of affection between King Charles and Camilla hurt Princess Diana's supporters, who saw it as an insult to her memory and a final act of disrespect towards the late princess. For years, Princess Diana's fans had borne witness to the humiliation and heartbreak she endured because of King Charles and Camilla's affair. To then see the couple openly flaunting their relationship in the wake of Princess Diana's tragic death was seen as a callous and unforgivable act. It was as if they were rubbing salt in the wounds of those who had loved and admired Princess Diana. These public displays of intimacy between King Charles and Camilla were viewed as a complete disregard for the pain and suffering their affair had caused Diana. Number 10. Impact on Princess Diana's mental health. Many blamed Camilla for contributing to Princess Diana's well-documented struggles with depression, bulimia, and other mental health issues, further cementing her as a villain in the eyes of Princess Diana's fans. The stress and emotional turmoil of her husband's infidelity were seen as a major factor in Princess Diana's declining psychological state. To Princess Diana's supporters, Camilla's actions had directly and profoundly impacted the princess's mental well-being. They saw the affair as the root cause of Princess Diana's depression, anxiety, and eating disorders, ailments that she had publicly grappled with throughout her marriage. Camilla's betrayal was viewed as a psychological torture that had left Princess Diana emotionally scarred and fragile. Number 11. Lack of public apology. Camilla never publicly apologized for her role in the affair, angering Princess Diana's fans, who saw this as a final insult to the late princess's memory. Even after Princess Diana's tragic death, Camilla remained silent on the matter, refusing to acknowledge the pain and humiliation she had helped inflict. For those who had idolized Princess Diana, this lack of remorse or accountability was an unforgivable act. They saw it as a callous disregard for the suffering that Camilla's actions had caused, and a refusal to take responsibility for her part in one of the most high-profile marital scandals of the modern era. Camilla's silence was interpreted as a lack of respect for Princess Diana's legacy and the millions of people around the world who had mourned her passing. Number 12. Living as the other woman. Camilla's role as the other woman throughout her affair with King Charles tarnished her image among Princess Diana's supporters, who saw her as a homewrecker and a symbol of infidelity. This status as the mistress was an unforgivable sin in the eyes of many. Despite the complexity of King Charles and Princess Diana's marriage, Camilla's position as the third party in their relationship was seen as a clear moral failing. She was viewed as a willing participant in the destruction of a marriage and the betrayal of vows, an act that flew in the face of traditional values and societal norms. To Princess Diana's fans, Camilla's willingness to assume the role of the other woman painted her as a selfish and immoral individual, willing to sacrifice another woman's happiness for her desires. Number 13. Rebranding efforts. Efforts to rehabilitate Camilla's public image post-Princess Diana's death were seen as insensitive and disrespectful by the late princess's supporters. As the years passed, there were apparent attempts to recast Camilla in a more favorable light, angering those who still blamed her for Princess Diana's suffering. In the eyes of Princess Diana's fans, these rebranding efforts were a brazen insult to the beloved princess's memory. They saw it as a cynical attempt to whitewash history and absolve Camilla of her role in one of the most high-profile scandals of the modern era. The idea that she could be portrayed as anything other than the villain in this tragic story was deeply offensive to those who had mourned Princess Diana's untimely passing. Number 14. Perceived insensitivity. Camilla's actions and attitude towards Princess Diana's suffering were often seen as callous and insensitive by the late princess's fans. Reports of dismissive comments or apparent indifference to Princess Diana's emotional struggles only added to the resentment and fury directed at her. For those who had rallied behind Princess Diana, this perceived lack of empathy or remorse was an unforgivable offense. They saw it as a profound disrespect for the pain and humiliation that Princess Diana had endured because of Camilla's affair with King Charles. The mistress's apparent apathy towards the princess's anguish painted her as a cold, self-absorbed individual, more concerned with her desires than the collateral damage she had caused. Number 15. Blaming Princess Diana. Allegations surfaced that Camilla's circle blamed Princess Diana for the breakdown of her marriage to King Charles instead of acknowledging Camilla's own role as the catalyst for the dissolution. The victim-blaming narrative infuriated Princess Diana's supporters, who saw it as a despicable attempt to absolve Camilla of responsibility. In the eyes of Princess Diana's fans, these allegations represented the height of cruelty and revisionism. The idea that the princess could be blamed for the failure of her marriage when Camilla's affair with King Charles was the root cause of the marital strife was seen as a grotesque injustice. It suggested a complete lack of accountability and a willingness to shift the blame onto the wronged party. Number 16. Role in royal duties. Camilla taking on royal duties and titles initially reserved for Diana upset many of the late princess's fans. As Camilla's public role expanded in the years after Diana's death, it was seen by some as a usurpation of what could have been Diana's place. To Diana's supporters, witnessing Camilla step into the spotlight and assume the mantle of a senior royal figure was a bitter pill to swallow. They saw it as a final insult to Diana's memory, with the woman who had allegedly contributed to her suffering now filling the void she had left behind. Camilla's growing prominence and the honors bestowed upon her were viewed as a slap in the face to the princess who had been so beloved by the public. Number 17. Media manipulation. There were accusations that Camilla and her allies used the media to shape public perception, often at Diana's expense. Allegations surfaced of strategic leaks and carefully curated narratives designed to cast Camilla in a more favorable light while undermining Diana's image. For Diana's fans, these claims of media manipulation represented a new low in the ongoing saga. They saw it as a calculated and underhanded attempt to sway public opinion, twisting the truth to suit Camilla's agenda. The idea that the media could be weaponized against Princess Diana was deeply disturbing to her supporters. Number 18. Influence on King Charles' public statements. There were accusations that Camilla exerted influence over King Charles' public statements, leading him to make remarks that were less than flattering or sympathetic towards Diana even after her death. This perceived manipulation of King Charles' words and actions further angered Diana's supporters. In the eyes of Diana's fans, these allegations represented a shocking level of control and interference. The idea that Camilla could shape the public utterances of the king, potentially swaying him to speak ill of his late wife, was seen as a profound betrayal of Diana's memory and legacy. This purported influence over King Charles' statements was viewed as an unforgivable act of disrespect and revisionism. It suggested a concerted effort to rewrite the narrative surrounding Diana, casting her in a less sympathetic light while rehabilitating Camilla's public image. Number 19. Post-divorce involvement. Camilla's continued relationship with King Charles after his divorce from Diana further angered the late princess's loyalists. To many, this willingness to remain entangled with a divorced man, the future king no less, was an unforgivable breach of propriety and decency. In the eyes of Diana's fans, Camilla's refusal to extricate herself from King Charles' life after the dissolution of his marriage was a selfish and insensitive act. It suggested a disregard for the pain and humiliation Diana had endured, as well as a lack of respect for the institution of marriage itself. Number 20. Marrying King Charles. The ultimate act that infuriated Diana's fans was Camilla's decision to marry King Charles years after the princess's death. For many, this was the final betrayal, a step too far that desecrated Diana's memory and cemented Camilla's status as the villain in this tragic tale. To Diana's devoted followers, the sight of King Charles' wedding to the woman who had allegedly caused so much pain and anguish in his first marriage was almost too much to bear. It represented the culmination of Camilla's perceived campaign to supplant Diana, erasing her from the royal narrative and solidifying her own position as King Charles' consort. This marriage was seen as the ultimate act of disrespect towards Diana, a brazen declaration that Camilla had emerged victorious in her pursuit of the Prince of Wales. From the secret affair that sparked a global scandal to the alleged victim-blaming and insensitivity towards Princess Diana's suffering, Camilla's actions painted her as a villain in the eyes of the late princess's devoted supporters. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this video. Do you think the resentment towards Camilla was justified? Or do you believe she's been unfairly vilified? Were there any acts on this list that you found particularly unforgivable? Or do you think some were overblown by Princess Diana's fans? Let me know your perspective in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video about the Charles-Diana-Camilla saga, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel for more engaging video content.